Do you find yourself struggling with the dry slick track in iRacing? If so, then stick around because in this video, I'm going to show you how to actually drive a dry slick track, and I'm even going to give you my dry slick track base setup that you can use on any track in iRacing. So, all of that and more right after this. Everybody, Thomas Brandon here. Thank you very much for joining me today. And if this is your first time checking out one of my videos, welcome. And what we do here is we basically take a look at how to improve your overall experience in iRacing. Now, in today's video, like I said, we're going to be looking at dry slick tracks. And at the time of recording this, the winged 360 sprint cars are currently running at Lanier. Now, Lanier is one of those tracks that can get really slick in the feature, especially if you're in a session that has a full split. You'll notice that the track is usually going to be somewhere around 50 to 60% at the start of the feature. Is the track slick at the start of the feature, but it will continue to get worse and worse each lap. Now, because of this, you not only want to have a setup that starts off well, but you want to have one that finishes well. A very hard thing to do, especially if you don't know how to set these cars up. It can be really hard if you don't know how to drive this type of track. With all of that being said, let me show you how you can do this and how you can start improving your lap times and results on these dry slick tracks. First of all, we're going to take a look at this, and we are at an 80%, oh no, I'm sorry, 100% track. So the track is at 100%. I thought I said at 80, but 100%. Either way, 100%, 80, pretty much all the same. Now, you can do this on a 100% track. Understand that when you are on a 50 or 60% track, no problem. You're going to have no issues whatsoever running fast laps on a track. You'll think that track's tacky compared to this. Of the setup, this is pretty much my what I would call my base slick setup. So what I mean by that is that if I'm trying to build a setup for a track, for a feature event, maybe for like a league race, right? Because a lot of leagues, the tracks are usually slicker than they are in iRacing, depending on the league. If you're in my league, it's not, because we reset it. I don't like running on dry slick tracks, but other leagues, right, especially some of the bigger leagues, or G-Force, those other ones, those tracks they're like ice skating rinks. And so if I was going to be running in one of those leagues and I was trying to build a setup, this is what I would start with. Okay, that's why I call it my slick base. So I would throw this on, I would change the gear and maybe the stagger depending on the track, right? If it's if we were at Eldora, I would drop the stagger down. If we were at, Fairbury, I might raise the stagger up. But this is what I would start with, okay? And then I would run some laps, make some adjustments, and just start building the setup. Now, you'll actually find that this setup is pretty good the way that it is. Like, if you don't make any changes to it, you'll find that this setup is going to be far better than most, especially better than the iRacing setups. Now, really quick, just let me say, so it doesn't sound like I'm trashing the iRacing setups. Understand, iRacing setups are, those setups are, the people who build those setups are put in a really unique situation. So they're building a setup that is trying to encompass the largest amount of people. So they got to build a setup that is going to work for drivers that are skilled but don't know how to do setups, for drivers that are new, for average drivers, right? So I mean, they're trying to build a setup that can be competitive while still being comfortable for the greatest amount of people. That's a hard thing to do. It's very hard to do. My setup that I would run is going to be completely different than what, another driver would run, even one of my same skill level, because we drive different. We have two different driving styles. You'll find that even with like the pros, if you looked at, Bergeron, for example, right? I'm betting money he doesn't have the same setup as a Heilman, or an Eden's, right? Like they probably have different setups. It's probably because they have different driving styles. This is how it is in the real world too. You set the car up to match the driver, not the other way around. So, and like I said, that this is going to work pretty well as is, okay? Now, this setup will be down. There'll be a link down in the description below, so you can actually just click on it and download it. If you don't know how to upload the setup into iRacing, just do a quick search here on YouTube and you will find videos that show you exactly how to do it. It's really simple. It only takes a minute or two. All right, but this setup, I'll give it to you. Okay. Now, we've got our tire pressures here. I'm going to go through it really quick because since I'm giving it to you, we don't need to get into super detail. But we've got our tire pressures here. Got the front at 12, the left front at 10. I've got the rears dropped down just a pound in each rear, and then I've got 12 inches of stagger. All right. Now, even though we're on 100% track, I've got the wing at 24 degrees. I've got it all the way forward. Now, I'll probably move it back a notch or two, but that probably is going to be it. The reason is that if you can run the car correctly, all right, which it can be hard to do, you can do it without having to move the wing back. Now, there's still a little bit of a cushion on this track, not much. It's right on the wall, but if you can put your right rear there, you can find enough grip to where you don't have to have that wing back. The front end really stiff, and I've got it jacked, not all the way up, but you know, quite a bit. I got a turn and a half in the right front, 3 turns in the left front. That's really just kind of setting my cross weight. All right, 5 bars. So I've got much softer bars. You want to have it stiffer, but when it's slick like this, you want it softer. And so we've got 975s in the back. I've got the left rear tied down with the 3.9 shock, and then the right rear I've actually got it tied down with the 4.6. Now, you'll notice I don't have the right rear all the way in. I've actually got it at 17. Remember, there is a big difference between hooked up and tight. You see, tight is how hard it is to get the car to rotate. Hooked up is how well those tires are connecting to the track. So we want the car to be hooked up, but still we want to have it to where we can get the car to actually drive. If you have to like whip it in to get the car to rotate, what's going to happen is you're going to break it loose, and now you're going to be loose from the middle out. You're not going to have any traction. So we still want this thing to drive, okay? Now I've got 16 gallons of fuel in here because that's what we would run for a feature at Lanier. And then I've got a 570 gear, okay? And whenever I'm testing this type of stuff, I always put, if I'm testing for a feature, I always put the amount of fuel that I'm going to be running because, you know, I want it to simulate as closely as I can to what I'm going to be doing in the actual race, all right? So let's head out to the track and turn a few laps. I've got my overlay up here. I've got it really, really big so you can actually see my throttle, my steering wheel, and my brake, okay? I'm going to show you 2 different ways that you can run the top here. One of them is strictly using the throttle. The other one is using what I call trail braking, or some people will call it power braking, all right? Both ways work. Both of them can be fast. It's whatever you are more comfortable doing. That's all it is, all right? Now, just so you can see, my top wing position is at 0, so I've got it all the way forward. Now, what I will typically do at the start of a feature is I will actually move it back 1 or 2 notches. The reason for that is when you have a full tank of fuel, the car can really, you know, slide around. And when you're doing a double file start and you've got all those cars around you, you want to get through the first lap without wrecking. And so I would rather have the car be, you know, a little bit slower, maybe even a little tight, but stable, than, you know, me crashing into people. And so I'm going to start with the wing back at 2, but if I can get through here and move it up, that's what I'm going to do, all right? So this first method, we're just going to use the throttle. You can see we got to be right up on the wall here. I mean, there's very, very little. And we want to take this nice and easy, meaning you don't want to just be on and off the gas like that. Remember, the throttle is not an on-off switch, all right? It's like a rocker. You want to ease in and ease out. If you find yourself just stepping on it, you're going to be all over the place. This is when you see them cars doing this down the straightaway. That's what's going to happen. So you want to get into the habit of really easing in and easing out, okay? So let's turn a few laps here. So as you can see, I'm just rolling in, keeping the right side up there. Just rolling through. Increasing that throttle as we exit the corner. Not picking it up too much too early. See right there, I got a little out of whack, but that's all right. Just roll out and save it. Now you can kind of do what I did just right there, back it into the cushion, or you can drive it in straighter, whatever works best for you. I try to typically drive it in a little bit straighter, depending on the track. Sometimes I'll kind of back it in. All right. I think we can apply a little bit more throttle here. Oh, caught the tail tank there. Get used to that happening too. When you're running up on the wall like this, that's gonna happen. All right. So you can see I'm just rolling in and out of the throttle. I'm maintaining about 50 to 60% throttle through the corner with that angle. Got to be really patient. Now I'm going to move my wing forward and see if we can do this with the wing forward. Car's a little loose coming out with the wing forward like that. But we can do it. Whoa. All right, so that is doing it with the throttle. All right, you can see we're just rolling basically just rolling the top here. And you're just picking up the throttle as you're exiting the corner. But you can see I'm not stomping it. I'm not, and when I'm rolling out, I'm not just letting off all the way, right? You're rolling in and rolling out, rolling in and rolling out. Remember, if you do that type of stuff, you're gonna unload the suspension on these things, and that's when they get all out of whack. All right. So, what about the braking method? Well, the braking method, what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually roll out of the throttle like we were before, but we're gonna actually apply some brake, and we're gonna hold the brake like all the way through the corner. Now, what this does is this gives us a little bit more leeway with the throttle in terms of being able to apply more throttle. Because we're dragging the brake. So if you can do it correctly, what you'll notice is that you've got a little bit more margin for error, I should say, with the throttle. But now this can be a hard thing for people to do, especially if they've never driven a car like a car in real life. If you have like a stick shift, this will come pretty fast to you. If you're not a race car driver though, or you've never driven a stick shift, it's gonna feel like you're walking on the moon. So all you're doing, like you see, I'm just rolling out, dragging the brake, and then as I'm rolling into the throttle, I'm letting off that brake. Call this trail braking. Some people call it power braking too. A lot of drivers in real life, you'll see them do this. I always tell people, go watch Brad Sweet when he won the King's Royal. His brakes are on fire, and that's Eldora. You know what I mean? Like that's like the biggest, fastest track in the world, and his brakes look like the sun. I mean, they're just glowing. So this is definitely, I mean, this is a technique we use in real life. Now, I've never driven a sprint car. I used to drive just outlaw cars, but I worked on many sprint car teams, and the drivers did it in real life. I mean, it works. It works in real life. It works in the sim, and you can do either or. Like I said, it's not one's better than the other. It's just whatever's more comfortable for you. If you are more comfortable dragging the brake and that gives you a better feel and quicker lap times, then do it. Do it, absolutely. If you're like, hey, Tommy, man, I just roll in and out the throttle and that's what works best for me, do it. I mean, either one of them. Like I said, either one of them will work. But the main thing is whatever is comfortable for you, because that's what's going to give you the best results. So, that's going to do it all for this video. I hope this gave you some insight on how to handle these super slick tracks, and I hope this setup helps you. Like I said, you can take this will work on anything from like 50% and above. And so if you want to run this in the feature this week at Lanier, you can. Take it and use it. I hope you go out and win races with it. I really do. But anyways, that's going to do it. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, really quick before I go, do me a favor. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Also, subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you get notified when I put out other videos like this. And also, if you want to learn more about how to do stuff like this, how to actually build your own setups, how to make adjustments, how to run things like, run lines like this, do, techniques like power braking, trail braking, that type of stuff, come over and join me on my new live streaming channel on Twitch. Tomorrow, Friday, is going to be my first live stream. I'm going to be doing it. You can head over there. You can join me. I'm going to be live streaming racing, and in between the races, before the races, I'm going to be doing this stuff. I'm going to be covering setups. I'm going to be doing the adjustments right in front of you, all of them. I'm not going to hide it like other drivers. I'm just going to show you. That way you can see it. That way you can learn. And so you can get better on the track. Because like I've always said, I would rather race you on the track and us just be driver to driver than, you have a crappy setup and I've got a good one and I'm just beating up. You know what I mean? I like winning, but I also like racing. That's what makes it fun. I like competing. So if you want to learn this stuff, like I said, and you want to check that stuff out, join me on my live stream on Twitch. Also, you can head over to my private Facebook group, School of Sim Racing. You can join over there and also join the School of Sim Racing Discord server, where I've got a ton of exclusive training content. You're only going to find it at my Discord or my private Facebook group. I have an open wheel masterclass. I give all of my previous setups, I just give them to you for sprint cars, midgets, late models, all of it. It's right there. You can just head over there and download. It's completely free. Absolutely free. You don't got to pay nothing. Just give them to you. So if you want that, go check those out as well. And then finally, we've got the new website up, schoolofsimracing.net. You can head over there, check a few things out. It's still a work in progress. It's just a couple pages right now, but we've got our merch up where you can actually pick up Team SSR hats and polos, and they're awesome. They're phenomenal looking. I promise you, you're not going to find anything else like this around. It really is like top-notch stuff. Like, I'm super happy with it. So if you want to check out all of those things or any of those things, I'll have links for all of that down in the description below. But thanks again for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I hope this helps you. And until next time, as always, I want to wish you good luck, good racing, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.